How's everybody doing today? So this is a truck that came in a long time before, long before I did YouTube. Probably, I don't know. I don't think this was ever on YouTube. But basically, the galvanized rockers of these particular trucks tends to push the paint off, and on the bottom of the doors. So we basically cleaned the rockers right down to the metal, primed them, gravel guarded them, put paint on them, the whole trip. That's held up good. That was about, I thought it was 2 years, but apparently it was 3 years ago. That being said, we had some issues around this edge, which we had just sort of, way back when, we kind of went under the edge and just cleaned it up. It was a touch-up job. It wasn't real elaborate. The problem was the spots we didn't fix were starting to fail. Now, if you look at the front, you'll see there's like a nice little chrome thing. So we basically touched them up, and then he wanted to put these on, which we did. But what happened on the back is somewhere up here in this area here, it started to kind of bubble out, and we found some pinholes. So basically, it all seemed hard and really healthy, except right here there was a spot with some pinholes. So we cut that out, butt welded just a little chunk in. Everything was healthy and good. And I know people are going to say, oh, the vintage of the truck cut them right out. I don't think we were there yet. There's only 100 and change on the truck, so I think we're good the way we were. And I mean, the guy didn't really want to spend a whole buttload of money yet. And I said, well, look, let's do this for now. Ooh, he's going to be mad about the gas cap, but I'll just say, look, I'll grab another one out of the junkyard. I got to put that plastic there. Oh, and then there's a rubber here. Anyway, guy painted right over those. It is what it is. But we'll replace the gas cap. But basically, we had little spots kind of all over, chips and stuff that were bleeding out. So I don't know if I showed it in another video or not. I kind of forget. But basically, all around the wheel was primer. Down there, up here, all in this area here. And there was nothing wrong with the metal. It wasn't like rotting through or something weird. But what was happening was anywhere there were stone chips, it was starting to blister and peel the paint. Now these trucks, if you get anything at all, as far as a crack in the paint, chip, whatever, they peel. It's almost like the primer that they used at the factory. It probably kind of sucked, or the steel has enough galvanizing on it that it's kind of sweating and pushing it off. So a few tricks we did. I went ahead and put these back on. I'm going to tell them to come back in a couple of weeks to put the chrome flares on, just because I want the paint to harden. When we took the flares off, you could see from where a few spots where it was touched up, it kind of ate through. And I mean, sometimes you can put your flares on right away, and every once in a while, humid weather, different things happen, and it'll kind of mark it. So don't do that, tend to wait. I know the sticker guys, when they do big stickers, they want you to wait at least 3 weeks because they're worried if the sticker shrinks and expands, it'll mess with the paint. So what we did here, we didn't do new stickers. I'm going to come up as close as I can. You're going to see a line right there and a line right there. Now the X we cut out. So what I do is I basically tape those. I go straight across. With a razor blade, you just barely touch the tape and it'll peel right off. Now here, we cut those out because you don't want a big line, but those little lines, you come back here, they go away and it's all fine. Now this will dull out a little bit in yellow, and then you kind of never see those again. Now if you ran the buffer a little bit on those, they'd also go away. Oh, I thought there was something in the paint there, but it's a reflection of something in the light. But anyway, yeah, we're pretty happy with this. It's a cleanup job. There's a little ding up there. He said he wasn't too worried about that. But there was a lot of dings down in the side here for some reason on this side, so we did straighten those out. So that turned out good. Now on the tailgate, we just kind of ran a bead across here and came up a little bit on the corners. There was a little bit of peeling from the back side. The front side was okay, but when I cleaned up the back side, I came out here, and because you have that bottom edge and it's going to peel up, so we wanted to seal that in really well. I used to use a fairly inexpensive sealer that I didn't really like. Same thing here. So basically we repainted the box side. So the process, we did the bodywork and all the little spots, ground them out, a patch on this side, a little patch on the other side. And then basically did a little bit of fill work here and there just to level it out because we didn't take all the old paint. This wasn't stripped right down. We did it like a repaint and fixed all the spots. Now that being said, I'm going to show you something different here that I saw this on YouTube. Lumabase white sealer, and it's actually like a white but kind of light gray. You shoot it on and then you have so much time to basically paint right over it, and it settles down real nice and flat, but it seals everything in. And I haven't talked about sealing stuff before. So good example is this car. We're treating the sides of the car like a repaint. We're fixing some messed up spots, but this all had to be stripped. This is all going to be done in sealer, and you know what? I'm probably going to seal the entire car. We're definitely going to use this. So the truck I just did was a test bed for this to see how smooth it would go. It's really, really nice. You can also add a little bit of any high quality reducer. And I did, but I didn't do 4:1:1. I did 4:1 and like not even a half, like just enough that it would run off the stick, the paint stick, the way I like it. And I use these metal ones, the aluminum ones. So that stuff, yeah, I like it. I like it. It's pretty decent. The stuff I was using before was a cheap PPG product, and I had a few cans that I picked up a while back, gallons. So I've been using that all along, and it went a long way. But I gotta say, this stuff I like better. The other stuff was, you had to really thin it down for it to not go on kind of ripply, and that seems to be like a PPG thing. You know, you get a little orange peel with it. But I mean, if you're trying to do an OEM finish, that's okay. But yeah, we're basically going to seal the roof, the trunk, the top. Might as well come down, seal the whole car in. So what we did here is, when we did all the work and we hit the metal, I actually went ahead with a little bit of etch primer on any bare metal spots. Gave the whole thing another sand. We filled all the spots. Shop's a total mess. We use this stuff. I like this stuff. It goes really well, and it doesn't leave pinholes and weird stuff like that. It sands nice, and we were able to block that. Now, I should have did a video, but I was so busy trying to get it done. But it was riddled with little spots that had to be sanded out and body filled. And there was so many of them. I literally took my DA 320, blasted everything down in a crisscross fashion. Now when I came down in here, I used a block and I did it by hand, but everything was done with 320 crisscrossed fashioned. And then the spots of white that we didn't have to do, I put 400 on the DA and hit all the nice flat spots, whatever I could, around the sticker. And on these edges, you don't want to sand those with the machine. You just sand over them and leave that shiny. Well, we hit all that by hand with some 400. And then after that, we ran the sealer on all of it. And that worked pretty good. And even that bottom little edge of the tailgate, I actually held a piece of cardboard a little bit above where the tape line was, down into here somewhere, because we went about twice as high as we had to. That way I could run the sealer across the bottom edge. And it's a 2K, right? So it pretty much epoxies it right in. And then we just went with one coat of white across it. And then we did two coats of the clear. And the nice thing with the sealer being that whitish is I was able to hit all the sealer with white, which we kind of put on a little bit thin, the base coat. And then on the second coat, we just acted as though we were doing our finish coat on the truck. This thing looks stellar. We've had it out in the sun. Now, if you can see a little bit of difference, it's hard to tell, but the door looks different than the cab. But if you move, it'll kind of go where it's definitely brighter than the truck. However, when I did the tailgate, last time around we did all the touch-ups, but we also repainted the complete tailgate. The tailgate was brighter. And after a couple years, the clear coat, I don't know if it yellows. I think what actually happens is it gets full of road grime and dirt and crap just stuck to the paint. It probably fades a little bit, UV sun and all this. But like the truck is not as nice, when you look at it. It's got a bit of it's hard to catch color on camera. Like I can see it in real life. It's hard to see on the camera. But basically the box is a brighter white. If you wanted to correct that and you're using a good quality product and you use the code, as far as I'm concerned, you buff out the truck, the whole thing's white again. Because one thing I noticed as soon as I went on the box, and the box was, obviously the same as the rest of the truck, as soon as we went across it with a sander, bright white came through. And we weren't sanding the clear right off. I'm saying just take that little surface off, and it is good. But I mean, the color is pretty close. It's nice enough that a week from now, no one will ever know the difference. Now, if this was a pearl or something weird, we'd have to paint the corner of the cab and halfway through the door and clear out past. But that's not what we did here. And honestly, I don't really believe in that too much for daily drivers. If it's not like the BMW I did or something like that. I did a Regal not too long ago that had a tri-coat on it. You gotta blend them. It is what it is. But this is like a truck daily driver 2012, you know what I mean? It's not new, so we painted it. We call it, see, when you catch light here, you can see how it's brighter and a little bit yellower. It just depends on the light. Now outside in the sun, the whole thing looks fabulous. So we're close, we're good enough. If you come up here, you can see that the tailgate is slightly darker, but originally the tailgate was bright like that, So it is what it is, but the truck looks good. Everything's clean. There's no rust on the truck. And why not fix it, right? Because if you look at the truck, it's pretty nice. If you come down here, you can see that slightly brighter white again. Now, when we did that down there, that was to fix all the edges because it wasn't rough on the outside, just on the inside. That was actually a single stage down in there. So that does look a touch different. But when it's sitting outside, again, you don't really notice it. But you do notice it on camera. Like if you look at here, you can see where we did a little bit of the stone guarding. And the color is actually pretty good. But on this back door, it's almost like the back door down here is more yellow. And you can really see it there, but not as much when you're down here. But, things are parked in carports and different things are hit by the sun. And this door, for some reason, and I don't know if my eyes are playing tricks on me, but that door right there seems yellower than the rest of the truck. Again, variances at the plant, whatever. Now, as far as peel goes, yeah, the truck's a little dirty. It's hard to catch it. But it's got a wee bit of peel, much like the factory would have. Then we got, I'm trying to use that dent to show you the peel on it. There you go, you can kind of see it in there. Matches the factory absolutely fine. And after I did the first coat, I noticed it was kind of glassy. So I cranked it up, the fluid tip a little bit, turned the air up a little bit, but then I also ran a little faster and it kind of left a little bit of a ripple effect, but I did put it on wet enough that it sunk in. And I find what that does is it looks a little bit peely, but once it melts in, it pretty much goes into what's on the cab. Now, it took me a long time to figure that out. It's hard to explain that, but you got to kind of play it by ear at the last coat with what the first couple coats did, or the first one coat, two coats. Depends what you're using and what you do. Yes, everything can be cut and buffed. We're not doing that. This is a daily driver. We did some touch-ups and I just said, look, it's going to be easier to just repaint the box sides and we'll just go across the bottom of the tailgate. You know, if this was like a Dodge and it had that little indent across the bottom here, I would have painted up to the line and you'd never notice that it was done. I mean, for instance, if you come here, you can see a dent in the tailgate. See that? I think this thing's been wallered up on top here. It wasn't like that when we painted it last time 3 years ago. So, you know, at least the plastic, it must have got hit. Yeah, right here. There's a low spot right here. She got wallered right here by something and put a ding there, a little kink. But the nice thing is the plastic didn't eat through any of the paintwork we did, so we know we did good there. Fitment of these trucks. Taillights. You can look down in there and see the ground. See it? Which I think is kind of cheesy. This bumper is not a bumper. It's a weird little bracket setup with a bunch of crap. These are just short panels riveted on, one bolt on the bottom. And you got these that are just pushed in. Yeah, so you always see these banged up in these. It's got a little more curve than it should have. It's not bad. But what we did is we had this chrome was all banged up. Then up here was really close. Now it's better. It's not amazing, but I mean, it does look good here. Could have went back a little more, but we basically pulled that up and back and where it was happy. Like, you don't want to do it so much that you wreck it. But then we basically went to the wrecker and got this chrome piece off a truck where everything was toast except that. We basically just went through the top here. There's like 5 6 rivets. You drill them out, take the one bolt out the bottom, it falls off. So the reason you see a lot of this style of bumper all banged up, it's not a bumper at all. It's just for show. I mean, there's no crash bar even behind it. What's there is less than what's on the, you know, behind the bumpers of Corolla. So these are literally, you know, I'm hoping the new ones are better with the little step. They don't seem to move. Or this, you step on that corner, like you almost don't want to. And it ain't rotten. It's just weak. But hey, it runs nice and smooth. It drives well. It goes down the road good. I have driven this truck. It's a real nice truck to drive. And it's a bit of a basic truck, but it's nice. It's clean. You can see the owner keeps everything kind of clean. You know, he's particular, which is great, which is why, you know, this truck looks this way. I'm sure 3 years will go by and he'll be like, I don't want to wait till it's rotten. Fix it now. So we will. Yeah, it's a great little truck. I've just been really busy, so no videos. So here's a quick one, what I've been up to. And maybe tomorrow or Sunday, somewhere on the weekend, we've got the Rumblebee really, really close. Got some of the badging on the Rumblebee. I just basically today, after I sealed everything up on this, I used that Lumicore sealer and I used it on the back side of the brand new bumper for the Rumblebee. We went with an Amazon thing made in India. It wasn't Taiwan this time. Might have been India or Thailand or something. I forget. But either way, the problem with the aftermarket bumpers, if you don't do much with them, they tend to rust. But the Rumblebee's a summer toy, so what I did is the back side of the bumper, we scuffed it all. We basically put a nice fat coat of sealer on it, and then a nice coat of nice coat of black paint. And that's on the inside. So tomorrow I'll run sealer on the outside and we'll paint her yellow. So hopefully by the end of the weekend we'll have a video of that truck all finished and done, except for the sticker. That's going to be 2-3 weeks to come in. Anyway, have a good night. Cheers.